welcome to our next session. I know this session is something for specialists, but we believe it's very, very important because we want to talk about repair, reuse, and refurbish. And digital signage, we have to be honest, is not very sustainable. It uses a lot of energy, but we don't want to talk too much about energy. But just an example, the LED wall behind us, that's 2 tons of material. 1 ton is just the wall, and another ton is just, just some weights so it doesn't flip over. And, these weights are shipped throughout Europe, and that's crazy. So also maybe something the industry can learn from. Is it really necessary to ship a ton of weight, of concrete weight from Cologne all the way down here and the way back again? But these are things people mostly don't think about it. But here we want to talk a little bit about refurbish, reuse, and repair. And I have a great panel here. And Christof, I want to start with you because you are from Sharp NEC, and as a visual supplier, you love to sell new hardware. But we believe the mindset has shifted a little bit, right? It's not only about selling hardware anymore.
Yeah, we recognize the change of mindset. Customers increasingly stress the topic of sustainability, which goes in line with our strategy, our long-term strategy, actually, because we always aim to have sustainable products and services. It actually is not only about energy certificates and fair working conditions. It's the entire topic of sustainability. Actually, it starts with the design, and we've, from the beginning, put a lot of efforts on a design to keep the product reliable, high quality. We do active cooling on our monitors. We use metal rather than plastic. Back cover is typically metal and not plastic, so very well recyclable. It also supports the cooling process and all about the things. It comes along with tools such as a carbon monitor, ambient light sensor, and human sensor. All these kind of tools support the long-term usage of a product. Then, last not least, serviceability is a big topic. We spend a lot of efforts in our design already considering service. Serviceability is really key. We use screws rather than gluing, as many of our competitors do, and that helps a lot to increase serviceability. So we follow this trend and this request.
But Christof, we have to be realistic. I mean, we still have an old NEC screen in our office, which is like 12 years old or so. This was really ruggedized, it handled everything, and it looks like you could change everything. And then we had the trend, everything becomes slimmer and everything. And so the whole industry went towards, using cheaper material, slimmer, lighter and everything. Do you see a trend backwards a little bit of the industry in general, of your competitors also, that it's getting a little bit more better serviceable? I mean, or is it only you?
No, I see the trend to make it more sustainable, more or better serviceable. That's really something which is driven by customers actually more and more. So they want to have sustainable products, and that is not only the design, it's not only the price, the cost. When you buy a product, it's the entire life cycle which it becomes more and more important. So therefore, I think it's that trend might stop at a certain point and reverse somehow. Yeah.
Let's talk about a really extreme project. You have placed special projectors in London Underground, which is a very difficult environment, to put it mildly. How important was, the design of your product and the serviceability in an environment like this?
Yeah, you referred to this famous project 4 or 5 years ago, actually, when it started. It's an underground environment, which is most critical environment for electronics, actually, because there is a brake dust that contains metal, which is really very bad for electronics. There's a lot of people movement in the underground. Millions of people move along in the underground, and it's a lot of heat involved as well. So we took one of our HLO projectors, highlight output projectors, and designed with partners a housing, IP65 housing, which is completely sealed, AC controlled, fully monitored remotely. Customers measure temperature, they measure humidity, which is very important, and also dust. So the filters, we have sensors, they measure the airstream, the air pressure of the filters, and give customer a schedule when filters have to be replaced. And it's quite difficult to go to the underground and do maintenance on site.
You can do it during the day. You only have very short time windows. You
can do that during the day. You have windows of 1 or 2 hours in the nighttime. That there are no trains allowed to pass.
Yeah. Christof, we see in the industry this one trend that if something broken, you have to throw it away. Customers nowadays expect products to be repaired somehow. Is there anything you can do? Can you fix a LCD screen like this nowadays, or you just have to throw it away? Or what are the trends there?
Yeah, it's a good point. We can fix it. Yeah, and we have a lot of recycling programs in Europe, not for electronic waste, but that is the driver of that. Actually, the e-waste stream in Europe is one of the fastest growing waste streams what we can see, and we are in Europe actually the leader of producing electronic waste, not by absolute amount, but by head. I think it's about 16 kilo per head. And there is a point where we can do something, and this is why we do repair and refurbishment. We can do panel repair, not just backlight. We do we even replace polarizers. If you find a scratch on the screen, we can replace. Depends on the on the type of scratch. We can replace polarizers actually, and you
can do that here, right, in Europe?
Yeah, we do that. We do that in Europe. We have several service centers along with panel manufacturers, but we also have our own. We don't do that only within the warranty. We also can do that out of warranty, and we have our operation in Hamburg actually. With a partner where we do panel refurbishment, and that starts even on desktop monitors. We do that. Yeah, there is a point of economics, cost merit, of course, but we try to make it as efficient as possible to do as much repair as we can do.
Last but not least, talking about efficiency, we have a few projects where an integrator buys a screen in some country and then installs it somewhere at the end of the world, a different country, and if something is broken, they have to ship the whole thing back. We don't want to talk about the carbon footprint, which is awful. I think you're one of the first in the market to introduce a program that you can replace or that you support service in each market, regardless where you bought the screen, right?
That's true. We started actually in Europe. We have a pan-European service, and I think that was quite unique when we started this kind of service. We have a central budget. We control any service activities within the EMEA region from our headquarters. So for us, it doesn't make any difference where a customer buys his product. We can do the service in any place in the EMEA region. And beyond that, we have established a global service program, a global service network. We work closely with our sister companies in US, in Asia Pacific, and in China, in Japan. And when it comes to global account business, we can immediately offer a global service for customers as well. So if you bring a product to Japan, it's no need to return that to Europe. We have the full coverage of services around the globe.
That's good. Theresa, you're working for Umdasch. That's a shop fitter. So how has retail design and shop fitting changed under these new circumstances in regards to sustainability?
Yeah, well, I'd say that sustainability has now become a big topic in every tender, in every conversation, which with a lot of our customers and also other industry leaders. But I'd say honestly that it is still a buzzword, and it's not business as usual yet. It's still a goal everybody strives for, but it hasn't found its way into the true business.
So do you see customers who contact you to say, we just want to refurbish our store or rebrush, just put some nice new materials in there, or is it more like, oh, we use the stuff as long as possible, and then we kick everything out and do something new?
Both, but I don't want to rank them. Every customer which comes to me or any of my colleagues is very welcome to talk with us about sustainability, because I do not in any way point my finger on a customer who wants to refurbish or reuse his or her products. But we are actually not limited in our availabilities and also competencies to build new shop fitting and new furniture, but in a way which then lasts longer, which then can be prepared. So implement the true circular economy thinking.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, the life cycle of digital is like 4, 5, 6 years. Usually, you can extend it, obviously, but that's how it is. Your furniture usually, 8 years, 10 years or so.
Well,
it should be.
If you say so, then. No, it's actually a little bit shorter. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'd say so.
Good. It depends, I think, a little bit on the vertical market, on certain things.
Sure.
So, do you see, a change in retail concepts? Is it that, like, because we have different life cycles, that customers are looking to align them a little bit more?
Yes, I'd say so. I think that also what we've experienced in our business is that when you think of a store, it can be Hugo Boss, it can be H&M. Basically, a concept store isn't designed starting with digital components and starting with the technical issues. So it comes later on during the project phase often, which isn't the best case actually, because also thinking of efficient energy use, of the possibility to reduce the brightness of screens, you have to start at a really early age of a project, and then aligning what you need of shop fitting and furniture, but also keeping in mind what all the digital components need, how you can make them most efficient, where you can make most use out of them, where it actually then benefits staff and also consumers.
I mean, you at Umdasch, you built already for 100 years furniture, so you know how wood and metal works or so. And for the past years, you're also getting stronger digital. So I think you are now developing this new category, which is like smart furniture or IoT furniture or so. So what are the latest trends there?
Well, it is, I'd say, mostly focused in a food retail sector at the moment. And it's basically coming from the thinking of zero waste. So we do have possibilities. The product is called liquid dispenser. It's mostly used in Austria and the DACH region. But basically it offers consumers the possibility to refill liquids at the point of sale, take them home, use them, and then come back using the same bottle and then reusing the bottle and the product as well. Well, that's only one of many products within a store, and most of the products are just not coupled to any technical device yet. If you think of shelving, basically shelving had the same goal for centuries and decades. Basically, it's to display products at a broad height and width, so you basically can sell much of it. But I think I see a lot of technical integration into shelving, making then shopping for the consumers much more easier and also maybe more fun, but also helping staff and logistics within the whole store.
Philipp, you're an infrastructure guy. It's something not very sexy on first hand, but it's very important. So what are the levers? How can you be more sustainable? How can you extend the lifetime of hardware, with the right infrastructure?
Yeah, Florian, it is pretty easy. So I actually have a question for you. So do you switch off your lights before you go to bed in the night?
Absolutely, I do.
Yes, I think everyone do. So why do we not do this in digital signage? Why do we not switch off the digital signage screens or the LED walls at night? Yeah, that's actually a question to everyone in this room. And with our smart power solutions, you can do this easily and save tons of electricity and tons of CO2.
Yeah, and it's not only digital signage. By the way, we were looking for a new printer for the office, and I looked for the different printers, and I found a few laser printers with 60 to 80 watts standby. It's unbelievable. They use 80 watts standby 24/7. It's unbelievable. And times like this, they're still selling products like this. So, I mean, this one obviously has much more standby time, but you would switch off a wall like this. But a printer usually runs 24/7. Nobody turns it off completely. So there's still so much to do, so much development to do to really look at more efficient ways of doing it. So this is what you're doing. You're doing IP controllable infrastructure, right?
Yes. Yes, and for example, if you look at the savings, because Theresa said green AV is kind of like a buzzword. Okay, it's coming. The trend is going to it. So we can have really a lot of customer success stories where they built a sustainability, but at the end you have to see if it really costs, if it really has a saving for you, and you can really see that many people do not expect that you have a lot of savings, electricity-wise and also CO2-wise. And I think it's a common ground, or everyone knows that the electricity price tripled compared to last year, and also the fuel price doubled. And I actually have an example. So this LED wall here in the back is around 30 square meter. And if you just switch it off at night, you will save a lot of electricity cost. And what car do you drive, Florian?
I have an EV car.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So, for example, if you compare this LED wall just by switching off at night, you would drive 1 year for free. Yeah, if you compare the electricity cost savings on this LED screen.
The good thing I don't have that at home, so I'm fine.
Yeah. right.
I know. I think everyone is fully aware, how much you can save with turning off electrical components completely. But for me, it's important when we talk about green signage, when we talk about getting a different mindset with our customers. We really have to educate the market, and obviously it's about power consumption, but it's also how we can use hardware, how we can use existing products much longer, much more wise in repairing them, finding new ways of positioning them. For example, high brightness screens, which you put outside or somewhere in the shop window. Even after 5 years, they're totally fine. Maybe not anymore in the shop window, but you can use them somewhere inside, in a warehouse or so. So you can really extend the lifetime of hardware. I think that really makes sense. And if you manage them more smartly, if you integrate them in furniture and make sure that they're managed and serviced, in a common way, I think that really make a big difference. But I personally believe it's still a long way to go. We personally feel that, many big enterprise companies are contacting us and they start thinking about it. But at the end of the day, when there's a tender, at the end of the day, it usually goes to the cheapest one. And I'm not very positive about the next 1 to 2 years, with recession coming and everything. It will be much more difficult to really, to focus more on more sustainable things. So repairing probably is really in trend. So I think, Christof, that's one thing which is probably perfect now for these times, right?
Yeah, I just want to mention one point again. We're talking about energy saving. That's a really important point, absolutely. But it's also extending lifetime of a monitor. You mentioned that, and that's really a key point. Controlling temperature, keeping temperature low, which is the worst enemy for electronics. That is temperature, actually. We can extend lifetime by far if we manage to control the brightness. We don't need to drive this wall with 100% brightness. That's not necessary.
This is 30%, by the way.
I was about to say this is approximately 30 up to 50%, depends on the type of product. It's not necessary to run that on full beam. That's too much. Yeah. So controlling brightness according to the ambient brightness condition is key. If it comes to furnitures, Theresa, temperature management is key, of course, because it's more difficult as far as cooling is concerned. Yeah, that's really important.
So just to add on this, I think that, or we have experienced that basically customers of ours are not willing to reuse products, digital products, and the key point was warranty. So they weren't sure if the warranty is still or can still hold after a 3-year use phase already. So summing up maybe the session and also the fields of expertise where we come from, I think moving into a more sustainable realization must be a group effort of producers, integrators, and also users, which we all are.
I think it's even more easier than that, because with the discussion at IEC with many vendors, it's really about having an independent source of really knowing how many hours a screen has run, because then it's easier also to have a second life for the screen, to find a leasing company or so giving it. So it's really, we need to have an independent source where leasing companies can really track how many hours a screen has run, and then they can give it a second life. So it's really about enabling the industry, enabling our ecosystems really to make use out of it. I think that's really important.
And we have got the tools for that. Like Navi said, you can remotely access any screen, large format screen, and can gather all data you actually need.
Yeah, with Sharp NEC it works, but not with all vendors. Some of them still encapsulate them, but we talk with many of them, and we have the feeling that they are now more open to that, and they're opening that up, because we talked to the leasing companies, said we love to resell, to give them a second life, but we need to have an independent way of finding out how much life is left on the screens and what the value is left, because then you can also sell warranties and everything.
Yeah, that's a good point, Theresa, as well. Warranty is key. Many customers ask for warranty extension. We do that. We offer that for our wide range of products, up to 5 years for large format displays and desktops, for projectors as well. For LED, even beyond on request, and for cinema projectors, we even go up to 10 years. Because that's the request of this industry. Yeah, and we have full spare parts availability over this period of time. That's also key.
Fantastic, good. Well, I think this was really interesting, some good insights about repair, reuse, and refurbish. And we need to reinvent the hardware life cycle. And I think also our economical times really put more pressure on everyone. And I think it's important to really have independent access to operating hours, to have good service concept. And a screen, you can still use a screen after 4 years. It's not the end of the time, just have the right things and do that. So thanks to all of you. And well, thanks for you participating here at the Green Signage thing. Thank you.